Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, from all of us at Teal Town, USA. And the Sharks give you something to feast on before your feast. A 3-1 victory over the Arizona Coyotes. Wait, no, what are we talking about? The Desert Dogs. That's right. The Sharks beat the Coyotes 3-1, also known as the Desert Dogs.
I'm sorry, hold on.
Okay, there you go. There's the second
Thank
one.
you.
We welcome you to this edition of Teal Town USA After Dark. We are your live and interactive post-game show. Hi, everyone. Hope you are having a nice evening, a nice early show this evening to get us ready for the holiday. And, of course, this is a live and interactive show about your San Jose Sharks and San Jose Barracuda. We'll get to that in just a jiffy. But, of course, to be part of the show, join us in the YouTube channel on the page or the app. Use the hashtag TealTownUSA. Follow us on Twitter at TealTownUSA, also on our Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We are only 8 subscribers away from 600. Let's make it happen, people. We're so close to 2,000 Twitter followers. Let's make it happen. Tell your friends. Tell your friends that don't follow their Twitter timelines to add us on Teal Town USA. We will mold them into hockey fans. Yes, absolutely. Joining me tonight, it is Mr. Al Martinet.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Right back at you, good sir. Rocking the jumbo jersey, very nice. And rocking his gorgeous quarter zip, because that's usually what he wears, Mr. A.J. Strong.
Yes. Dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly. Now, if he only scored, then we would be saying dilly dilly all night long.
Well, it was Dylan and the other Dylan.
That's true. And we will chat about them in just a jiffy. Little scoring update to tell you. They are in the second intermission. San Jose Barracuda are up 3-2 on the San Antonio Rampage. McCarthy, Waugh, and Chartier got the goals. Chartier's out, though, most likely for the rest of the game due to an injury after he took an elbow in the second period. That gave the Cuda a 5-minute power play, which they converted on twice. So, that being said, we will get to that, and we will go from there. All right, Sharks win this game 3-1 over the Arizona Coyotes. Definitely got things back on track tonight.
I'm sorry, over the who?
The Desert Dogs.
Dilly dilly.
Let's talk about this game. All right. So started out a little slow. Started feeling out their edges. Sharks definitely got on the board early, thanks to Jumbo Joe Thornton. Yes, that's right, folks. Jumbo passed it to the net. At 14:42 of the first period, off of a shot of a Brent Burns shot, off the face-off one from Joe Pavelski. Since you're rocking the jersey, I'll ask you, Alex. Jumbo, he passed it to the net. Your thoughts?
This is the second game in a row where he's been shooting the puck more and more. I think he's kind of seen that as a criticism. I mean, that's always been a criticism of him. But Brent Burns shot the puck to the right-hand side, and Jumbo was rightly there. And that's something that Jumbo hasn't really been. He hasn't been in front of the net. He hasn't been a presence in front of the net, to be frankly clear. I came in to this game and kind of been wondering what kind of Coyotes team are we going to get, because they've won 3 in a row. They beat the Maple Leafs 3-1. I think it was 2 days ago.
4-1 with an empty netter.
Yeah, 4-1. But this was kind of a game where, are they just streaking, or are they just a team that's hot right now? And it just seems like in the second period or in the first period, where Antti Raanta had that injury, it looked like it was a concussion injury. That kind of swung things in the favor of the Sharks. But back to Joe Thornton, this is definitely one of the best games he's played this season. Bear in mind, it's definitely the Coyotes. I don't want to put that asterisk in front of it, but it is the Coyotes, and they are 3-15, 4-15. So
they're 5-16-3 now with this loss.
Yeah, so I do want to put that in front of it. But he made a ton of great plays tonight's game. He also did set up the second goal, which we'll talk about later.
AJ, your thoughts on Jumbo getting a goal tonight? AJ.
I know. Great follow-up on Burns. And a hell of a snipe shot. I mean, we're not used to seeing I'm just trying to think of the last time I saw Thornton score on a manned net. You know, he's great at empty nets. I'm just trying to think. But, I mean, it was a great snipe shot. So, I mean, kudos for that. I thought this game was way, way slow to start. The puck looked like a crazy ball out there bouncing around all over the place. Not to mention guys, I even tweeted out a GIF where there were like literally 3 guys who all like ate it and weren't like touched. It was just bad ice tonight. And I know, I should just have a sign that says both teams are playing on the same ice sheet. Yes, I know that. It still doesn't disqualify the fact that what a crappy sheet of ice tonight. And you would have thought that it would have been somewhat decent because the Arizona barn was certainly nowhere close to being sold out tonight. Now, granted, may have something to do with the people trying to get out of town for the holiday, but still a very vacant Gila
River Arena. Yeah, and that's a nice rink too, but
well, they've certainly had enough shots at getting a rink.
Yeah, gosh, yeah, no kidding. All right. One thing I did want to point out was something really cool prior to the game that I would like to share on here. It was they had the fans put on their lights to their phones in a honor of their of Hockey Fights Cancer and sending a moment of reflection to shine a light against cancer. And of course, no matter who you've had it affected you, it's taken a lot of toll. And it was a nice little tribute that they did on the night before Thanksgiving. That was actually across all of the 15 home rinks tonight in the NHL. So that's pretty cool there. In the first period, they shot 13-9, I believe it was, against the Coyotes. In the second period, the Coyotes would put up another 9 shots on goal. However, they would not score, but Logan Couture did on a nice, pretty passing play from Donskoy and Braun at 4:56 to make it 2-0 Sharks over the Desert Dogs.
Oh, did someone say Desert Dogs? Oh, excuse me. Excuse me for a minute. I feel a little bit haggard after all these beers. Hold on.
Good screenshot, by the way, Alex. That's not...
Can we just go into a little discussion about, can he just shave the beer? It's been, what, 2 years? Almost 3 years?
2.5?
Yeah. Can he just shave it? I mean, speaking of someone who just shaved for Thanksgiving tomorrow, can he just shave it? I mean, it's just get rid of it.
I mean, you got to do it for, make it a charity thing like Burns used to do. I think they both should probably just shave it at this point. But again, lifestyle beard.
Lifestyle beard. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if the beards are in the contract now.
At this point.
It's a marketing ploy. I mean,
it's just gross. It's just gross.
Tomorrow's Twitter poll: are the beards gross? Yes or no?
I can't stand it anymore.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. The thing I had was the Creepy Joe picture that I always put up when he scores a goal, where he's like, 1 down, 3 to go.
Like during playoff season, he's going to turn into Chewbacca at the same time. It's like, come on, just get rid of it. But back to the second goal. The reason why I kind of brought Joe Thornton is that he was kind of the one that set up Donskoy, who allowed the Sharks to have some transition game to it, which we don't really see from the Sharks. Which is one of the main reasons. I mean, that's one of the big problems I'm seeing from the Sharks. And Kachuk was just in the right place. Donskoy with a great assist. Assist counts the same as a goal, but is that 3 straight games that Donskoy's had a point?
I believe so.
Yeah. So,
but at least, I mean, I understand what you say about finding him in the right spot, but that's a big part of hockey, man. Being in the right spot at the right time. You know, what did Gretzky say? You know, don't skate to where the puck is, skate to where it's going to be. So that's a big part of it. They seem to, be a little bit better in certain facets of the game. I can't get too up on this. I mean, they lost 3 in a row, and yeah, this is a great way to turn it around, but you turned it around against the worst team in the league on a abysmal sheet of ice, and you clearly did not play anywhere near your best game, and we'll probably touch on it a little bit, but I mean, we also need to get into the line combinations tonight, which, aside from the second line, blender at full bore.
Go ahead.
Starting with Timo on the top line, up with the Joes, which we haven't seen in quite some time. I don't know how long it's going to take for the Sharks to realize that, you know what, there might not be anybody on this roster that can fill that slot. Go figure. I don't know what it is. And then you saw LeBanc start on the third line tonight, along with Tierney and O'Regan. O'Regan getting a look on wing, which I think also speaks volumes to Bodker starting the game on the fourth line. And having LeBanc on the third was okay for a brief time. Then he ices it twice in a row, has some not great plays, and boom, gets demoted down to the fourth line. And to be honest, wouldn't surprise me if once Goodrow's healthy or something, if he's back down with the CUDA once they free up a couple spaces, because LeBanc is just not having a great season right now. He has a couple, hints, a couple sparks, and then he goes dormant for a while. And it comes down to, and they were talking about it during the intermissions, where are we going to be, boys, between now and Christmas? Like, who is expendable and who is out there and the harder question, who's available? Who do you go after that isn't named Tavares? Yeah.
And that's the big thing. Go ahead, Alex. Sorry.
I was just thinking, during the power play, I think it was in the third period, LeBanc was on the same line with Bodker, and it was just, again, the same bender or blender, figuring out what's going on with the power play, because we are 30th in power play. We are, and
a whopping 2 power play goals for the month of November.
Yeah.
3 games to go to get that increase, by the way. But yeah,
I think based on tonight, they fell down to 6% in my scorecard. I think maybe at 5.8 right now is where their power play is clicking.
I think they've only had 3 shots on the power play too, so not a good sign.
Yeah,
well, and it's the same mix, dude. They give up 3 power play opportunities. They kill all of those, but they get a power play. And again, must preface, don't expect them to score on every power play. But again, 2 for, what did I say at this point? I had it written, 2 for 30 at this point.
Yeah.
It looks like they had no power play shots tonight, guys.
It kind of looked like it.
Good for you.
Yeah, 0 for 1 on the power play. But I mean,
and you also got outshot by the worst team in the league
by 1. But yeah,
yeah. But I mean, but this is the team that if you're a contender, and we're 20 games in now, kids. We're at the quarter pole, and if this is where you're getting outshot even by 1 goal, this is a team you should have dominated. You look at Anaheim. 42 shots on goal against them. Now, granted, this season Anaheim is giving up a shooting gallery to everybody, but if you look at where the Sharks have been over the last, I don't even what I want to say, 4 games at home, they're averaging 34, 35 shots. So tonight, 27 against the worst team. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I am definitely agreeing with you because this is the hits were 18-18, the giveaways were 5-5, takeaways were 3-3. But I think the stat that I kind of look at the most are the face-offs, and the face-offs were 25 the Sharks, 33 Arizona, and it just seemed like they were controlling.
Wait, what?
Yep. Yeah.
Tell me those numbers again.
The Sharks had 25 face-offs won. Arizona had 33.
I thought you were talking percentages.
No,
I'm like, I go, dude, 25 and 33 does not equal 100, bro.
No shit, Einstein.
I'm just saying. That's why I asked for clarification.
Oh,
do I have to get do I have to donate to the swear bucket now or what?
Yes, that's I think that's your first one into the swear bucket. Thank you very much.
Yeah, catch up.
Not with you on this show. Are you kidding me?
But it just felt like if one or two things went the other way, we could have been talking 2-1, Arizona.
Well, if Ronta doesn't get knocked out of the game.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. And it felt like his injury in the second period.
First,
yeah, changed the game. So, and you can say that about every game in the Sharks I played this season, like one play happened, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, after after he left, you can totally tell that just the Arizona didn't really have that energy. And that could have been the jumbo when Joe Thornton scored at the very end of the first, but very much that was the turning point.
Yeah, no, and we should discuss that because that's one of the key points there. Ranta felt a little woozy after that. Of course, Couture took the penalty for it, and then all of a sudden we see Wedgwood come in, and the first shot Wedgwood sees without a warm up, mind you, because that is the rule. Was freaking, Jumbo getting it and right off the bat. So that was pretty huge as well. So let's go on to the third period now. And this is where things started to get a little interesting as Brendan Perlini gets his sixth goal of the season from Stefan and OEL at 12:23, made things a little interesting. Although the Desert Dogs didn't have much of to respond to. They really didn't have a massive push to tie this game up. They did have some chances. The third period shots were 8-7 in that mark, but Martin Jones, played pretty well on this night as he picks up the win. He stopped 26 of 27 shots. For 963 save percentage in the and thoughts on Joner tonight. Alex, I'll go with you first.
Great all-around effort. I don't think he's had a bad game. Maybe it was the Kings game, but that was like the second game in. But did he play against the Lightning?
Yeah, I think he was replaced in the third period. So those two are probably
those are the two. But he made the saves he needed to make early on, and the Coyotes never really did make a push. It was always like one or two bounces, and I'm forgetting how the first goal. Oh yeah, the Coyotes goal in the third period was very much a DeMello, misplacement. He didn't really follow his guy, but that was not really on him. But for the most part, I was surprised that DeMello was playing tonight. And I wonder if that was just him getting some time in the NHL because it was the Coyotes, but we haven't seen him probably 5 games. So
I wonder if it's showcase.
Yeah, I wonder too, because I think you don't take heat out, who I think has impressed the Sharks brass and coaching staff through it.
Because on that first goal the Coyotes had was he just left him wide open in the front of the net. Yep. And I don't know what he was doing there. And Yeah, I'm not a fan of DeMello, but and that just continues the line.
Mustache probably got into his line of sight.
Probably. That ugly stash.
Well, and let's also point out, too, I mean, the kid that they were all talking about was Keller from the Dogs that, I mean.
He's like 19.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people throwing him the call. They're like ready to engrave his name on the Calder already.
Not with this team, no.
Well, hey, you never know, dude. You never know.
The same thing with Brock Besser from Vancouver.
Oh, crap. He had to figure out a way to just stick that in there. Anyway.
You can't be Rookie of the Year if your team is 3-4 or 3-whatever. You can't do it.
I don't know. No. It's going to be whoever the guys from Vancouver. If anything, it almost showcases him better. That wow, look at that, he's putting up these amount of points on such a crappy team. That said, he was a -2 tonight.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, AJ.
With that being said, we want to welcome those of you watching us. Who are watching Brody and Curtis. This is Teal Town After Dark, following a 3-1 victory to the Desert Dogs.
Hey now.
There you go.
Dilly.
Dilly.
This is your live and interactive Sharks post game. If you want to be a part of the show, make sure you hit the hashtag TealTownUSA on the Twitter machine or join us in the YouTube chat, whether you're on the page or the app. So that being said, all right. So overall, a good win against the Desert Dogs.
Dilly.
As final stats as we go through it, we have, you guys talked about it earlier. The Arizona club outshot the Sharks by 27-26. Coyotes won the faceoff battle 57-43. Both teams went 0-4 on their 4 combined power plays. Hits were even at 18-18. Sharks had a little more on the blocks at 16-11. The giveaways were even up at 5, which is an improvement from what the Sharks have dealt with the last few days.
But see, and this is the case, again, that I have to go back to. When you look at that stat line, it's pretty even, which is frightening when the Sharks are basically playing even with the worst team in the league.
I wouldn't go too deep in the numbers, but it is very much like, it's the day before Thanksgiving. They have 1 day off before the next game,
And the scary part, that 1 day off will be in Vegas.
Yeah, we know Jumbo likes Vegas.
Jumbo likes Vegas.
But I mean, 3 games in 4 nights, not easy by any stretch. But thank God they're essentially on the time zone. Arizona, get your crap together, would you? Just follow the Pacific clock. It's ridiculous. But anyway, that part of it should be okay. I'm really interested to see, because Vegas clearly has been on a tear. This is going to be the very first time they go to Vegas or see Vegas, whether it's here or there. Very first time we get Vegas. Vegas has really been fighting with the LA Kings for that top spot in the Pacific, has had a remarkable streak that you would think at some point is going to come back down to earth. But you have that. Winnipeg and Philly. Philly not doing the best, but Philly has always given the Sharks issues, and that does start a 4-game roadie back east. I'm hoping that there's some cohesion on that eastern trip where they can just kind of let everything at home go, whether it's taking out the trash, feeding the dogs, whatever domestic duties that they have, that they can just kind of let go, because this has been a really bizarre schedule for the Sharks to open up this season through the first 20. Randy Hahn mentioned it tonight on the cast, how Arizona has logged a tremendous amount of air miles so far in the opening of this season in their quarter pole. It's been ridiculous. But you look at the Sharks, where 5 at home, 5 away, 5 at home, then 1 away, then 3 at home. I mean, you had a stretch where 8 of 9 were at home. You don't see the Sharks get this like ever. So.
Yeah.
And this is the first time they've played outside the state of California. in the whole month.
Yeah. So this is this trip, this East Coast roadie. I think we're going to if they just kind of if they go like 1-3 and they look bad, and of course to quote Hockey Jerk, and they should feel bad. If they look bad, then dude, I mean, you either see some. I think you're either going to see somebody acquired, or you're going to see somebody moved for future, because they have to start making a decision at this point, because they're just right on that precipice, and it's clear that this group together is not doing it. You moved a number 1 draft guy, in Goldobin to get Hansen, and we're 20 games in, and Hansen's played like what, 10 of them? Scratch tonight. So what the hell was the point of making that deal? You look at Bodker, colossal disappointment last year. You signed him to a 4-year at $4 million per, and colossal disappointment last year. You thought he was, this is going to be the year that we have the napkin line. It's Couture, Donskoy, Bodker is going to be, and what happened? Bodker is playing fourth on the 4th line and has been somewhat consistently. The dude has 2 goals. He's on pace for 8 goals on the season at this point, 8.5. I mean, the guys are not producing. Either fire sale and build for the future, or make a couple significant moves and say, this is the big one. But I got to be honest, you look at where those contracts are when you Burns, Vlasic, Jones all got big extensions. Hurdle, I think, will get I would say maybe 5 years. He might get a 4 to 5 year deal after the end of the season. This is the end of his 2-year bridge deal. They have to. I think at this point, I think they need to start looking towards the future. Honestly, all bets are off at this point. And if one more MFer talks about putting Burns at forward, I swear to God, stop it.
I get what you're saying, AJ, but we're only 3 points behind the top of the Pacific Division.
It's not the Sharks' fault that they play in a crappy division.
Okay, so Vegas is 4-5-1 the last 10. Los Angeles Kings are 3-6-1.
But I'd like to see the record of those teams versus the record of the teams that the Sharks are playing. Again,
strength of schedule.
So possibly strength of schedule. Anaheim has no. Wait a minute, hold on. Before I talk out of my ass, Anaheim has a winning schedule right now, or a winning record. F you. Boston has a winning record. Okay, Florida doesn't. But either way, Anaheim barely has a winning record. Boston barely has a winning record. Florida has a losing record. And the Sharks lost 3 games consecutively to those guys. And did not look great tonight against the worst team in the league. So I'm sorry, I just don't think that if they had went on a run where it was like, okay, well, we lost 3 games, but it was to, Tampa and St. Louis and Winnipeg, then I'd be like, well, those teams are kicking ass right now. And, and right now, Vegas, number 2 in the Pacific. After that, Winnipeg, number 2 in the Central. Let's see where we're at after those 2 games. This weekend could be key. If they drop both of them in horrific fashion, you have to make a decision.
Yeah.
I think it's too early to say that quite yet. In December and January, that's when we have our large block of road games. And that's when you start making those trade deals. And then who do you trade? Who do you get? We don't have.
Oh, hey now.
Hey
now. Let's get some Desert Dogs mentions in here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Brody Brazil.
Yeah, sorry, we had to finish our own little post-game show here. You might have seen it or heard of it, but
no.
All good.
So I literally have 3 minutes because then I got a jet. But
so he's going to get on here and be all Desert Dog, Desert Dog, Desert Dog.
I know. So I was going to say, do you want me to say it as many times as possible?
Here
too.
You do what you need to do.
Post-game show.
Yes.
Teal USA.
Do what you need to do. Do you need the ham horn?
Look at that guy.
Uh-oh.
Nice. What's up, Curtis?
I got to be honest with you. Just once I want to see you do the post. Just once I want to just do the post game in street clothes. Just once. Just once.
Oh, sorry. I couldn't. It's slightly loud in here. What did you say again?
I said just once I want to see you do the post game in street clothes like that.
Oh, like this?
Yes, exactly.
You don't want that.
Hey, no, that's
right. Dropping the horn effect.
Oh man. Well, yeah,
classic.
we wanted to have you on so you could add some more Desert Dog count to it because we know how much you love it as much as I do. So, Brody, what did you think of that Arizona Hockey Club tonight?
You know what? Like, you could see how they won a couple games in a row. I don't know. I totally thought the game hinged on when Ronta came out. I mean, clearly, and that's like the obvious. That's the obvious observation, right? Anybody could say that, but up till that point, I'm not sure there was anything either way that was convincing. And then all of a sudden, he's out. Joe hammers one in, and they never looked. I felt like Wedgwood was on a level and not in a good way.
Yeah,
and I think that just opened the door for them to. And you know what? The late goal that makes it a 1-goal game. I mean, again, that's the team that is, it has won 3 straight games.
Well, and that's what makes me nervous is that if you look at the stat line, for the most part, the Sharks were pretty even along with Arizona, and I don't know that it's something to get too excited about when you're even with the worst team in the league right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, right? Because we said that on pregame too. Like, look at these guys, fewest points in the league, last one to get to double digits. But on the other hand, like nobody, kind of a fault of the NHL. Nobody league anymore. Like nobody is that much worse, including them. They're, being 2-15 before tonight. That's not really. Nobody's that bad. So.
Hey,
it's hard to tell.
Their power play is better than ours.
I mean, right? Like, I hate to say it, but Sharks have 2 power play goals this month. So
and 3 shorties.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was what, tonight's one of those games. It's like I could sit there and try and dissect it and digest it. I'm just gonna say, take the win, walk away, be happy, try and get on a win streak, maybe beat Vegas, maybe. Bye, Lauren. That's Lauren, our producer. She's leaving. Try and get rack off a couple wins here in a row before you got to go on that 4-game Eastern trip, right? So, I mean, again, it's just one of those games you say, okay, I know they won 3-1. I still think of it as a 2-1 game.
Yes.
But it's, they have a hard time getting to 3 lately. I think when they start getting to 3 is when I'll feel a lot more confident about where things are going. You know what you got in Jones. You know what you've got in team defense, but
well, you talked about power play goals. Only 2 power play goals in the month of November. Only twice that they've scored 3 goals in the month of November. And the next 2 games, Vegas, number 2 in the Pacific, Winnipeg, number 2 in the Central.
Yeah.
These are going to be some key games before they go on that 4-game roadie back east.
Yeah, I think you just never know. I think like tonight's game and also the Vegas game are such like you don't know. It's like opening a box if you have no clue what's going to be in there. I mean, Arizona's fast. They're young. They can skate. But how what's their hockey IQ? Right. I'm just saying. The Sharks clearly have experience on their side. They have a little bit. They don't have scoring on their side, but they have goaltending on their side for sure. But I'm saying the same thing on Friday. It's like, what are you really going to get from Vegas? Are you going to get a team that started off like white hot, or are you going to get an expansion team? I don't know what they are. I
don't know. Real deal James Neal, man. That guy's scary.
Yeah, seriously. Like, how about the market on James Neal? Like, he went from, okay, good player to like the reason a team is chasing a division leader as Vegas is. So absolutely. All right, fellas. Desert Dogs.
Oh, hey now.
Desert Dogs. I want to see everybody. You know what's funny? Somebody just told me that this was a drinking game.
Really? Hold on. Let me do my best Brody impression. What?
Oh,
What?
What?
Brody,
I Here, let me crack a bottle. There we go.
Oh, hey now.
Oh, nice.
Hold on, it's not a baby bottle, is it?
Stay hydrated.
There you go. Brody, hey, happy Thanksgiving to you and the family. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
all the work you guys do over at NBC Sports California, of course. But all the best to you, and of course, Desert Dogs.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Have a good show.
Have
We'll
a
see
good
you on
one.
Friday, man.
See ya.
All right.
Brody Brazil checking in with us. You know,
You can only get that here, and then of course, NBCSN.
Yes, of course.
right in that time.
We're the headliner. That NBCSN is the opening act. We get Brody when he's headlining.
Yeah.
Right. In that time, though, guys, while we had Brody on, the Barracuda regained the lead 4-3. Julius Bergman gets the goal, and the Cuda, get your arm exercise going. Come on.
It was 3-1.
This is my impression of Kevin Lacey.
He can rock the turtleneck and get that going all the time. Heck yeah. So the Barracuda have 4-3, about 3.5 to go in the third period. To recap on the CUDA, they had Chartier, Roy, McCarthy, and Bergman now with goals for San Jose.
And I got to say, with Brody coming on, what a terrible night for Gen X to not be in the chat.
Oh my God, right?
I'm just saying.
He's going to hate himself.
He's going to, he's going to miss it.
No.
So, but to get back before Brody so rudely interrupted us.
Yeah,
I know, right? F that guy.
Yeah, that guy and his beard.
Why is he an A's fan? Why? Just why?
Yeah. Oh, I have no problem with that. I'm a Giants fan, but I have no problem with A's fans.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to Dodgers fans, I'm just saying. But anyway,
jeez.
no. We were talking about who's expendable and who are you looking for, which I was putting out to you, and it just seems like, I mean.
So who's untouchable? Who's untouchable? I would think that's the who's untouchable.
Who's untouchable? Well, I mean, there's talent-wise, but there's also contract-wise. Obviously, untouchable is Jones, Burns, Vlasic, Couture, and that might be just about it.
Thorin, you don't include Thorin?
No, because he's on a 1-year deal. I mean, that's going to be a guy that you're going to move at the deadline if you're out of it and you want to work out a deal with him similar to what was the cat from Boston who moved to Colorado to get a ring after he'd been there for 15 years?
Bork, yeah.
Yeah. So if you do a like a Ray Bork type deal for Joe Thornton, I have no problem with that. If we could get like a couple picks back or so, I mean, something that would be nice. But if they think that's like an additional piece, now granted, if Thornton goes to a cup contender, I don't know that he's expected that, to go there and be the top line center. You would think if they're a cup contender, they probably already have that, but it's going to be the piece that kind of fits that puzzle and really pushes them over the cliff to get to that cup. I have no problem with that if it nets the Sharks good returns. Now, Doug Wilson has proven that he can get decent returns. You look at the time when he moved Douglas Murray and Ryan Clough, got fantastic returns for that. But then you look at him signing Bodker to this ridiculous deal, then you kind of have to weigh one to the other. But at the end of the season, if the Sharks are trending downward, if they are not in the playoff picture come the deadline, and we've seen them have miserable Februaries, right?
Or second halves.
Yeah, second halves. We've seen them have miserable Marches. Remember Doug Wilson, like 4 years ago, talking about, well, we ran the table on L.A., Anaheim, and Chicago, and then right off a 9-point lead, and then right off a cliff. Yep. Missed the playoffs. So we've seen that happen. So if they're at that kind of in that precipice state, if they can get stuff for Thornton, by all means, sell them off. If they can figure out to get a bag of pucks and a Gatorade bottle for Bodker, I'm fine with that at this point. I've had it with this guy. Same thing with Hansen. I mean, if there's any way that they can just like get a fifth back for Hansen or something, but just like it's time to just rebuild. You've got some decent pieces on defense to work with, you know, and those are the things that everybody seems to be looking for. If you have to move, if Yoki Ryan gets you a legitimate, you know, 1-2, winger.
If the price will be right if for the right piece. You know, I don't think Meyer or LeBanc or O'Regan are safe. I think they can be expendable, but at the absolute right price. I don't think DW will toss him out for anything in particular. However, I will mention in the Barracuda game, Jeremy Waugh with a goal and 2 assists. He's
again another defensive prospect.
Yeah, another potential. But like Zach Devine said in his mailbag.
No,
Zach Devine.
I'm kidding.
Stop it. Friend of the show, Zach Devine.
It's been so long since he's joined us. I've almost forgotten who he is. Damn it, Zach.
I just think it's way too early to make a trade right now. After December ends, then you can start seeing who's separating from the pack, and then you can finally see, okay, are we going to be actual cup contenders or even playoff contenders? It doesn't have to be, top tier. Are we going to make the playoffs? And that's where it really comes down to, because from January 1st to February 25th, and that's where the All-Star break is, we have 15 away games. 15 away games. And if we aren't the road team that we've always been, or had this road warrior mentality that everyone wants to talk about. By the way, I hate that, by the way. Road team. We can't win at our home, but we can win away. But 15 away games between that time, that will eventually either make us or break us. It won't be our record our schedule in November, December. It's that 15-game stretch.
But again, I go back to the fact that at least on that road trip and how the schedule has been, it's not nearly as ridiculously compressed as it has been in prior seasons. So, I mean, and you've even seen at the beginning of this year where it was like play on a Wednesday, then play on a Saturday, play on a Wednesday, play on a Saturday. When was the last time you saw 2 weeks, 4 games? You never see that, whereas we're about to see 4 games out of 6 days.
It must have been 10 years? I haven't seen a schedule this light, this early. But I bring up Kevin Kerr's recent article. We should be winning 60 or 70% of our schedule, just because of who we played.
And I also need to comment on that with your talk about the games in early January. Besides getting the All-Star break at the end of January, don't forget, second week of January is the Sharks bye week.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a lot of time in between Super Bowl week and Valentine's Day to get some rest, and hopefully that helps them get ready for playoffs.
Dude, Super Bowl is played in February, bro. We're talking about All-Star
but they play the All-Star game that bye week on that week off before the Super Bowl.
No.
Isn't it the third week?
They play the NFC Championship, the NFC AFC Championships, and then in between that week,
shush. The bye week is January 7th through the 13th, which is about a month.
February.
I'm looking at the schedule. They don't play a game between the 7th and the 13th.
Gotcha.
That must be the bye week. So there's your bye.
When's the All-Star game?
January 26th through the 28th is the All-Star break. So they don't play between the 5th and the 30th, which, that's only 5 days. But either way, evidently Puckguy thinks that the Super Bowl is played at January 12th or something. I don't know what
No. I thought our bye week was in February. No, they play the All-Star game that Sunday that there isn't a football game on. That's what I was trying to say.
For those of you who are just joining us, the Barracuda have won.
Yes. They just
we're supposed to do a sports game on it, but I don't really want to do a sports game.
Yeah. 5-3.
5-3.
Kevin Lacey, you orange turtleneck wearing MFer. Come on.
Come on,
Tell
bud.
us what happened, man.
Come on, Kevin. Get on here. Come on.
Oh, crap. That means I probably have to send him a link. Oh, well.
Don't.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Damn. No love for Lacey.
Wait,
No,
actually,
no.
the link is actually in our group chat. So
Yeah, that's what I'm joking about.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You can come on if you absolutely must.
Yeah. No, it'd be nice.
Don't.
Oh, I'm such an asshole. Anyway. Have we met?
No matter what.
Whoa.
Money on my mind. Every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there.
Hey, the Barracuda won. We gotta play their goal song, their win song.
Wait, is that actually
Down, up, down.
Yes, that is.
Oh God.
All right, there we go.
Just when I
Kevin,
thought
get
I was
on
missing
here.
out on something.
Kevin, get on here.
This is the, in conclusion, 3 white guys trying to act black portion of our
Yes.
Oh, jeez. Oh man. While we wait for Kevin to jump on.
But, you know, and
jeez.
if that happens, we have to ask Lacey if he does join us. How you gonna do that hockey?
Oh, jeez. If you haven't seen the
SNL.
SNL skit with Chance the Rapper, you got to check that out for sure. But while we wait for Kevin Lacey, let's go and do the NHL wraparound in
The reach around?
tonight. The
No?
wraparound.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I misunderstood.
All right. In Buffalo, who unveiled some sweet Winter Classic threads today as well. They lose to the Minnesota Wild 5-4. It was 2 goals from Nino Niederreiter, Tyler Ennis, Michael Granlund with goals, Devin Dubnyk with the win. I'm sorry. Yeah, 2 goals from Niederreiter and 2 goals from Granlund. Eichel got a goal in that game. Jordan Nolan, former LA King, gets 2 as the
And
Sabres.
the Wild scored 2 power play goals, which, of course, Sharks fans don't know what those are. But
What? How's that possible?
What?
You can power play goals? Multiple in a game? That's crazy. Wild go to 10-8-3 on the year. They are at 23 points. In Detroit, the Oilers break out of their schneid. They put up a 6 spot on the Red Wings to beat them 6-2. Nurse, Maroon, Kyra, Letestu, Kajula, Puljujärvi. My God, can I buy a frickin' Val with this team? 6-2 the score. The Oilers go to 18 points on the campaign. Detroit stays at 23. In a shootout in South Florida, Nazem Kadri gets the only goal. Nicholas Bustad was the only goal scorer for Florida as they win in a shootout 2-1 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs go to 14-8-1. The Panthers go to 8-11-2 on the campaign as Luongo
and
gets the win.
who's the Twitter account that does the great gifs?
Hockey gifts, or is it? I know you're talking
No,
about.
no, it's that girl.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh gosh, why can't I think of her name?
All right, somebody in
Jen.
the chat right now.
Yeah, no, somebody should get that one.
What's the name of the account that does the great?
Her name is
gifs?
Jen, I believe.
Oh, well, that's great, but it makes no sense if we don't actually have the name of the account. Anyway, if you know the name of the account, which I'm sure is about to show up in the chat in about 5 seconds, there was a dangle in that shootout that was ridiculous. It was like, I'm not even trying. And it was the most ridiculous goal. So go look at that Panthers Maple Leafs. Go look for that GIF. What a sick shootout.
My regular face.
That's it.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah, my regular face. There you go. Lazy people in the chat. Anyway, go ahead.
Hey, hey.
We move on to New Jersey.
We move on to New Jersey, where the Devils lose to the Bruins 3-2.
Jesus Christ! Oh my God! Rocket is just bowing her head in shame, going, "Oh."
That was in a shootout. The Devils go to 12-5-4 in the year. They're at 28 points. The Bruins fall to 9-7-4, and that is 22 points.
Hold on, I have to address the chat. Skylar just told me, "Fuck you." I don't know why. It was probably absolutely required, but I would at least like to know why, so I can, retort.
Okay.
But we move on to the aisle.
Just keep on moving.
Yes. In Brooklyn, in overtime, it was Josh Bailey at 32 seconds beats the Philadelphia Flyers 4-3.
And in this one, Thomas Greiss, he gets the win. But go look at the Sportsnet Twitter. Wes McCauley called this game, and he had a call like you can't believe, because his mic failed on him, and it was hysterical. So go look at Sportsnet. Fantastic. Wes McCauley always laying down the best calls in the NHL.
Yep. In Pittsburgh tonight, Jake Gensel gets 2 power play goals, but it wasn't enough to beat that high-flying powered Vancouver Canucks, with Brock Besser scoring 2 goals as well, and Louis Eriksson, Derek Pouliot, and Brandon Sutter, as the Canucks beat the Penguins 5-2. And the
Besser, man.
him and Clayton Keller are probably 1-2 in the Calder race right now, I think. In Washington, the Caps take down the Senators 5-2. No, that wasn't a congressional investigation. No, the Senators just go down 5-2 to the Caps. Ovechkin with the goal. Chason, Kuznetsov, power play goals. Ryan Zengel and Matt Hoffman for the Sens, who go to 8-6-6, while the Caps get over the hump. They're now 12-10-1. The Rangers decided to.
Can I call this one?
Go for it.
Can I call this one? Rangers 6-1 over the Canes. We got goals from Kreider, Zibanejad, Carey. Kreider gets on the board again with the power play goal. We got 2 from Fast to end it. Lundqvist gets the win. Darling takes the loss. The only goal coming from the Hurricanes coming from Aho. What an Aho.
Oh, God.
Wow.
I was waiting for that the entire time. What an Aho.
Oh, fuck.
Wow. Oh, boy.
This is the only reason why I wanted to do that.
You're such an aho. In Columbus, the Blue Jackets get a shout out from Sergei Bobrovsky. Anderson gets the lone goal, 2-0-2 into overtime as they defeat the Calgary Flames 1-0. The Flames are at 25 points. The Jackets go to 14-7-1 on the campaign. In Tampa, a comeback from the Lightning as they were down 2-0 on Patrick Kane's 2 goals. Palat, Kunitz, and Point with the power play goal in overtime as the Hawks go down to the Bolts 3-2.
That was a game that Kane said, I can McDavid too.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Predators.
Hold on,
can we talk about the losing goalie in this next game?
No. In Nashville tonight, the Nashville Predators in a shootout.
Not Miami.
Lose to the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 in a shootout. Philip Forsberg with 2 power play goals. Pekka Rinne gets the win. Jordy Ben with his 2nd on the year. Morrow with his 3rd on the year to tie
and
the
who
game
lost
late.
that one for the Canadiens?
And the losing goaltender for Montreal was Antiniemi. At least he only let in 3. He only let in 4 goals. That's not bad.
What is going on with Montreal? Like, seriously, like they have
Carey Price. That's what's going on with Montreal.
It can't just,
but they can't score either.
It can't just be Carey Price.
No, they can't score. I wonder what that feels like.
Hey, we're still winning.
Ouch.
It has to be something different. There has to be something else going on with the forwards, the defense. Like, what is seriously going on with Montreal? Because they have Shane Weber. They have a decent defensive core. I don't know what's going on.
Everything that he's saying, you can say for the Sharks.
No, seriously.
You can actually.
Yes, which is
I'm
scary.
used to being called. I'm used to the Capitals being called San Jose East. I've never heard Montreal referred to as San Jose East, but it's not bad.
You could say Toronto is
San Jose East. Yeah, considering how
Can we
many
talk
trades
about
jumped
Yakupov for a second and his resurgence in Colorado? I was literally standing in a stairwell with Jamie Baker and Drew Remenda just a couple short years ago, and Remenda was ripping Yakupov a new one. That this guy had no work ethic. He was just the language that Remenda was using. Clearly, he likes to get it out before he goes on air. It was fantastic. So at least Yakupov is having a resurgence. I mean, if Yakupov was on the Sharks right now, he'd be tied for second in goals with Donskoy. So
Sleepy Mofo in the chat saying, who's worse? What's going on in Montreal or in Edmonton?
I don't know.
I'd say Edmonton, because Edmonton was picked almost blanket wise through the NHL to be the front runner, like the far and away front runner to lead the Pacific. So,
but the difference between Edmonton and Montreal is that Edmonton has a ton of injuries, and you can't really replace someone that was in your core first and second line. And Ken Tablet, or was it Tablet, or was it who was it? Who was Edmonton's goalie? Talbot. Yeah.
Was he? Did he call him Tablet earlier?
No, Talbot.
Yeah. I'm starting to think that was maybe just a 1 or 2 year span with Oilers.
No, it is so far proven to be a complete Steve Mason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but once,
or maybe I should say Niemi.
No,
1 good year.
No, but I do worry though that if Todd McLellan doesn't turn it around, because was it on Wednesday or on Monday? Monday they lost 5-0 to the Blues. And I'm glad that they had another comeback. They turned things around, and now it's a blowout, and it won't look so bad. But
to be fair, Blues #1 team in the Central, #1 team in the West.
But hey, I'm just saying that when they face tough teams, it just seems like their locker room is not in order, and they just don't have the depth to go against teams like the Blues.
But that was that game. It was 8-3 Blues.
8-3. So, and what is Todd McLellan supposed to do? When you lose some of your key forwards and you bring up people that are meant for the third or fourth line, McDavid can only do so much. He is a great player. He is one of the best. He's in the top 3 players in the NHL. I'm just not too sure how much he can possibly do. And I said, maybe. My first episode here, if they're gonna fire Todd McLellan, it would have to be the week before Christmas. That way they can scoop it under the rug.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Hang on. Let me finish.
Let us gift wrap this firing for you.
That's what a lot of coaches. That's what you see in the NHL, NBA. Mm-hmm. You see that a lot if they just get rid of the bad news on a Friday before Christmas.
All right, AJ, what are you laughing at in there?
Well, at what point? I mean, I laugh at everything.
You do, actually.
No, I do. There's so much to laugh at. No, just the Oilers are working Talbot harder than AJ is sipping his beer. I thought that was fantastic. That's a great column.
Wow.
I don't even know what is happening with Edmonton. I don't think anybody knows what is that. I listen to NHL radio on Sirius, and they're just every time after the 8-3 blowout, they are literally I don't know what you do with this squad. I mean, we're 3rd year in with Todd McLellan, and everything was going swimmingly, and it does make me wonder. From what we've heard, PDB got a 4-year deal, right? So we're a quarter into the way of his 3rd year. Yes,
wasn't it a 3-year? I'm actually not too sure about that.
I thought it was 3rd as well. I thought it was 3rd with an option for a 4th, but I don't know. Clearly, after we get off here, I'm gonna have to text John Tortora and find out. But we'll find out what is going on with PDB's deal. Todd McLellan, I don't know what his is, but I thought it was 4 years.
I think it might be a team option. So 3 and 1.
Okay, see, and that's probably good. And Lacey saying Oilers can't just fire T-Mac tomorrow. They need to have somebody who can step in at first. How about Rafi Torres? He'd work really well as a coach for the Oilers. Just go out there and hit everybody. Just knee everybody. Just hit it. Just smack them around. Because at this point, really, what does it matter? I mean, the season is.
Though there's got to be a contingency place with
Edmonton has 18 points.
Ooh.
And
hey, you know what?
Division lead is 26.
Daryl Sutter not doing anything right now. Just saying. Contingency.
Oh, no.
Just saying.
Push him out to retirement. Just don't.
Ron Wilson not doing much else.
Oh, no. Not him.
Oh, the other thing I did want to point out earlier, there's something that we have spoken a lot about this season when it comes to the Sharks, is the fact that the attendance has not looked fantastic this season, shall we say.
Yeah.
Tonight at Gila River Arena, 11,000 fans. Yes, you heard me, 11. Okay, 65% capacity. So as poorly as the Sharks have done this season, it does not hold a candle to Gila River Arena.
That's not good.
Is Jerry Fleming NHL ready? Because he is the head coach of the Bakersfield Condors, the Oilers affiliate in the AHL. That's one of the teams that you've always seen them go bring up their head coach on at least an interim basis. But
if I were to get fired Todd McClellan, it'd probably be the assistant coach that steps in. Just to have some spark of energy, just to have some fresh face, and then you start actually looking for your head coach in the offseason. But it depends on what his buyout is or how much his salary is.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one because he does have a nice deal. To finish up the scores, Avalanche 3, Stars nothing. Like AJ said, Yakupov gets a goal along with Johnson and Landeskog, as the Avalanche go to 11-8-1. Of course, we mentioned the Barracuda beat the San Antonio Rampage 5-3. Sandberg, Bergman, McCarthy, Waugh, and Chartier all goals for the Cuda, as Bibo stops 27 of 30 shots for the Barracuda as they go to, let's see if they've updated their standings just now, as they go to 7-7-0-1 on the campaign. They are still 5th in the AHL Pacific Division. In the ECHL, the Allen Americans beat the Idaho Steelheads 3-1. That's the Sharks ECHL affiliate. Arsenault, Levens, and Moore getting the goals for the Americans tonight. So a organizational sweep for the Sharks organization, as we get ready to chow down on some, hopefully 8 more subscribers. That would be great.
Hold on.
Chow down on 8 more
You
subscribers.
want to eat your subscribers? You know how subscribers work, right?
No, Sleepy Mofo in the chat. I think he's blaming the poor attendance at Gila River due to the enforcement of digital ticketing.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. How many phony tickets are they circulating in Arizona? I have no idea.
All of them.
Oh, jeez.
You know what? It's the dry heat just melts the QR codes right off.
When I went
Now.
Yeah, when I went to their stadium or their arena, that was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago. Like a group of like that. I remember like most of the stadium was just giving out free tickets. It's always been this way with Arizona. Maybe the one year they made it to like the playoffs or like second seed, that when they were the top of the Pacific. But yeah, it's always been this way with Arizona. Like I've always wondered why NHL kept them in Arizona. Like just move them out, find some other place. Like when Vegas started to become a topic of like, why wouldn't you move Arizona to Vegas? Essentially.
This is a good comment from Nick in the chat. T-Mac only gets fired this year if McJesus gives the okay. Do you think that's true, Puckguy? Like, do you think like if Connor kind of like, acted like he'd scored 4 goals and was swinging around if he would just be like, you know what? I'm not here in T-Mac anymore. We need to go somewhere else. I mean, you are literally talking the face of the franchise over the next decade.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a possibility in the sense that how much they've given McDavid to be the face of the franchise, how much they're paying him, how much they are, he's got the C on the chest too. It wouldn't surprise me if he has some say in it. Kind of like,
dude, how great would that be if McDavid pulled like a Patrick Waugh in Montreal? Just got like really pissed. Just got like really pissed off one night and was like, "I'm never playing in this sweater again."
Ay.
Is Skylar asking, is McDavid a coach killer? I don't think he is at this point.
No,
I think
he hasn't been fired yet.
He's only been with one coach.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
it's going to be another.
Kill someone to be a killer, right? So.
Yeah, but I mean, anybody who is like McDavid. But dudes, I mean, like, think about it for a second. Anybody who's like McDavid, who knows that he is, I mean, dude, he has to own a fucking TV and like the internet and Twitter. The dude is clearly seeing that he has been anointed as, as Gretzky, the great one, Sidney, the next one, and McDavid, the real next one. I mean, McDavid knows he has power. He has to know it.
I think
I guarantee you there are more McDavid jerseys right now in Edmonton than any other jersey. I mean, put all the McDavid jerseys together, that pile would be bigger than all the other players combined. And that includes that. No, I'm talking about every other player who has played for the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, okay.
And that may include Gretzky and Messier. All told.
That's
no, because jerseys are a lot cheaper right now, and people are buying jerseys a lot more than they did in the 80s.
I'm not sure.
You look at, dude, do me a favor, go and look at footage of a game in 1986 of Edmonton, and you're going to see a bunch of people in Edmonton shirts and jackets. You did not see people buying jerseys until the 90s. So that's why I'm basing that statement on that. I guarantee it right now. There are more McDavid jerseys in Edmonton than all the others combined.
What about in terms of popularity in Canada? McDavid. I mean, I would say Austin Matthews has stolen a lot of McDavid popularity.
Austin Matthews has stolen Eastern Canada. McDavid's stolen Western Canada.
I would say that because of the performance of the Oilers, we haven't really talked about McDavid the way we really should. And Austin Matthews is most likely gonna be the MVP this season.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I mean, at least I look at him like the way he's performed. He's definitely been the MVP first 20 games in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I just look at how, if you want to call McDavid a coach killer, like I don't know.
I didn't see it was a coach killer. I'm saying he definitely have the power.
Like if McDavid feels that he could score at 2 goals a game outside of Tom McClellan, I'm not too sure he can. I mean, his system is built around, it was built for Patrick Marleau, who definitely was beneficial for it. McDavid is going to benefit from it. I don't know, but
right now you're saying that you believe that Austin Matthews could win Player of the Year. Is that what you said?
Yes.
MVP.
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, I don't know about that. I think as it stands, whoever wins Player of the Year is going to be wearing a Thunderbolt across their chest right now.
Well,
that's true too.
I mean, yeah, but the thing is that's Tampa Bay, that's Florida, and we've seen how voting.
So we've established he knows where Tampa Bay is.
No.
But
Alex, no, finish your point because I think
that's not Canada. That's the main point. So that's right. I would say Canada, East Coast.
I'll give you that, but then again, a San Jose boy did win the Norris last year, so. Maybe they're opening the blinders a little
By
bit.
how many votes, though? That's the thing. Like, how many
Yeah,
votes?
but hey, but Tampa, you know what? They at least have the privilege of being in the right time zone.
True, but like, how many votes? Like, it would have been Carlson if it wasn't for it would have been Carlson if Burns didn't slump.
Yep, I absolutely agree. All right, with that, let's set up for Vegas. First,
Yeah, dear God, I really hope Randy and Dan find some way to entertain themselves over the next 36 to 48 hours.
There's no strip clubs there. I don't think so. No.
they score.
How great. No. How great. Now think about this for a second. This is just what popped in my head. I would love to like go to a strip club, Cheetahs, whoever. Go to a strip club.
I like how you know the names.
And well, I have been there. Go to a strip club with Randy on one side, Ruzy on the other. Holy crap, how awesome would that be? And it's like, it's and here she comes. Pink bikini walking towards. Oh, she scores! Somebody throws out a $20 spot right here. Yeah, I mean, oh my God, that would be hysterical.
Or how Randy Hahn always does this in position photo. It's just like in position.
No.
And then I can see her like doing the girl doing a spin and like kind of tweaking on.
All right, before
hold
this
on.
gets out,
No, the girl
we're gonna get in trouble.
Spin. Shut up for a second. The girl doing a spin for a second, the heel catching, and Randy just going, "Oh, that's never good."
It's just wide.
That's like icing on the power play. It's never good. I mean, oh my God, that would be fantastic.
It's just off the post.
Oh man, and yes, and of course, like some guy like throwing $1 or a 5 spot up there, and just and Ruzanowski. Oh, it went through the 5 hole.
Damn it! I was going to get to that.
Oh! Look at that guy. He's going for the wraparound.
A great one-time shot.
Oh, he went for the wraparound. Oh, here's another guy coming in for the follow-up.
No.
With that, I'm not even going to give them the final thoughts. With that,
happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes.
Hopefully the turkey was stuffed.
Oh, he stuffed her right in the turkey.
Oh, jeez.
You can't get this kind of feedback or post game from anywhere else, people. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
And there went our retweet with Brody Brazil.
So essentially what's going to happen right now is both Al and myself have to go into the box for 5 minutes.
Oh, I feel shame. Jeez. Yeah, so much for that retweet from Brody tonight. All right. Please make sure you hit subscribe down below.
And please do us a really big favor and don't hit unsubscribe after the last 2 minutes.
Yes, that's for sure. We will be back with you following the... not on camera. No.
What the hell just happened here?
My mom has me tasting the traditional pumpkin cake icing. This
That's what
icing...
you want to call it.
Yeah, okay. Whatever.
You know what? Hold on. Are you sure your mom
Get your mind out of the gutter, AJ.
No. Are you sure your mom gave that to you, or was that handed to you by Kevin LeBanc with how much icing he did?
Oh, yeah.
Take it on your finger.
Well, I will.
Did she just say smell my fingers? What?
Shut up, AJ. I don't know what he said.
Oh my God.
All right. Let's get out of here. Really appreciate it. We're very thankful for all our viewers and all of our followers. Really appreciate all of this, even after this 2-minute off the rails derailment here. But do us a favor, hit subscribe down below. Make sure you hit up tealtownusa.com for all your Sharks podcasting needs.
Follow the Twitter.
Follow the Twitter at tealtownusa. Follow us on Facebook. Check us out on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube for all your podcasts. Loving. We will be back with you on Black Friday if you haven't been trampled over at a Walmart.
Remember, all Fridays matter.
That's right. And until then, jeez.
Oh, and just to let you know, if you're having the awesome turkey tomorrow, which you all should, I can't recommend this enough. It is the perfect beer
Lower.
for Thanksgiving, pumpkin down.
Nick Neff Teppets, I haven't heard anything about a social media night on December 9th.
Whoa. Social media, you mean official through the Sharks?
Yeah, he mentioned in the chat December 9th, but I haven't
No,
heard anything at all.
No, if there was going to be a social media night on December 9th, which is only just a couple weeks away, they would already be promoting the crap out of that. So
And
I'm
I
still
would have
going
put
to
a rush order on buttons.
Yeah. Oh, Gen X, where are you, brother? The smart money for social media night, Nick Neff Teppets, book your plane ticket out here from Utah. If you win another jersey, I swear to God. Pittsburgh Saturday, January 20th, I think is where the smart money is. That's where the Shark social media nights have been over the last 3 or 4 years, have always been kind of towards the end of January. So if you're looking at booking a flight, Saturday, January 20th is probably where you would like to look.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you could talk to your BFF, or I know Flavo watches us. So
Flavel.
Oh boy. Or Maria, by all means, let us know whenever that's going to happen. With that, you guys have a great Thanksgiving. We will see you Friday after the Sharks and
remember,
Golden
early
Knights.
game.
3 p.m. start, so we'll be on probably around 5:30. We'll see you Friday night. Good night, everyone. Keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real, Teal. Please hit that stop button right now, please.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.